Okay, so this is just something I was going to do idly while watching TV, but then I figured, why the heck not? This is the little Rocinante model that you get, or you got, from LootCrate. I got this one from eBay, and it's a pretty decent, nice little display model, but that's all it is. So I'm going to turn it into a real spaceship. No, I just wanted to add some lighting effects specifically for the thruster. So I was wiggling this back and forth for a while, and it looks like it's basically two halves that are stuck together. And I actually got to the point where I can see into there where just the glue is coming apart. Or the plastic. I thought maybe the thruster would come out, but I didn't want to work on that too much, because if that broke or something internally, like where this glue is coming apart, that would be visible from the outside and ruin the effect somewhat. So yeah, it's just sort of moving around in like a circular twisting motion. That's advice for modifying this or for other areas of your life late at night. So they did put the glue, especially holding the top in place. And these sections here look like they might be separate too. I'm not entirely sure. The top is definitely harder to make budge though. I don't want to bend anything too permanently. But yeah, the way the ship is designed, getting into the top there is proving difficult. Oh my god. Fuck. Well. Come on, you bastard. Oh, it's just one little section here. That's really holding it in. But yeah, I just want to be careful not to cut or mark anything that I'll be able to see regularly. Oh, fuck. Okay. So, that is the ship in two parts. And so you can see that's actually just totally hollow. And then, yeah, they just put a bunch of super glue on this. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this section is separate. And my camera is off to the right from where it normally is. Yeah, so that should go back together pretty much more or less without any sign of tampering. So, next step is just to drill in a little bit with a drill bit that's hopefully not too large. So I think this should be pretty good for what you call it, 3mm LED, but I don't know if it's going to be long enough. Ooh. It kind of looks like that actually just popped out into a hollow section in here. Yeah, so if you look there, you can see a hole that's going right through. So I do have a kit with some super small drill bits, and I might be able to like do lighting effects on other sections. Although I think this is actually like quite a large ship in the canon of the show, so I don't know if that would work very well. But I'll grab a white and a blue LED and put them on some wires, and we'll see which one sort of looks better as a thruster effect. I'm also going to look up some clips of the show just to see how well what that looked like actually. Okay, so after a quick look, it is pretty much just like a whitish, bluish, effect for the thruster. So yeah, I'm basically See, the thing is, it's like already kind of clearish. So I think I'm going to try a diffused blue LED first. One thing I might be tempted to do is make that hole bigger. And I was already thinking of doing this with one, but maybe add a white and a blue LED. At which point I should have kept the third wire on this. But basically do like a flickering effect and use an Arduino, or in this case probably an ATtiny 85, just programmed with an Arduino. And I would use that to do a nice flickering effect. There we go. And so that's actually quite hard to see. Let's turn the side lighting off. So I'll turn the voltage up a bit, but that's already, I can tell, a super intense blue. And I don't really think that works. That really doesn't look the part, I don't think. So let's go ahead and look into white. Now the problem is, like, this is sort of a gradient thing where it's, you know, a hot, intense white color at the very, you know, closest part of the thruster. But it's a much, you know, cooler blue further out. So 2.8 volts. So that is looking pretty, let me turn this off. That is looking a little better, I think. If I bring that up to like 3 volts. This power supply has some flickering, but that actually kind of, well, just looking at it, might work. This isn't the power supply I'll be using though. That's quite nice actually, and it's quite a good sort of effect just based on, you know, how this reflects light internally and diffuses it. But I will go ahead and, now this is probably where I shouldn't have cut the leads. I want to see how it looks with sort of like a blue in there as well. Well, I don't really think so. I think it's basically just going to be, So now what I could look into doing, I don't know if I have them around here, but I could look at putting some surface mount lights in there, so there's a darker blue further out and then the white further in. I'm seeing elements of both the blue and the white in that right now, and that's actually looking pretty cool. I don't know if you'll be able to tell the difference very much. Let me turn off the exposure lock. But the elements of the white is showing further out, not so much inwards. If I fiddle around with the placement, I can change that. So I think I might drill this out a little deeper actually, and then work on maybe having 1 or 2 surrounding whites, and then 1 blue aimed sort of dead center. So let's go ahead and switch to a proper big drill bit. At least in comparison. And I'll be very careful. Oh yeah, that's just like... This looks like it's just kind of like molded. It must be a hollow piece that they glue in, because if you look there, you can basically see right through down to the bottom. Oh man, even that, just getting the LEDs further in, just because now I can get them way down in there. That's giving a super vibrant effect, and based on the position, I can do a little bit more blue or white. So I can get that right down to the tip. So I think what I'll do is I'll pause the video, and I will try and rig up a little array of a couple white LEDs and one blue one further in. And I'll see sort of how well I can make that effect look. Okay, so I think I managed to get the effect that I wanted, where if you look at it sort of from this angle, you can see sort of white, but at the tip you can see sort of blue. Let me kill the lighting a bit. The blue might be a little overpowering there, so I might want to give it a different value resistor. Basically, I'm running everything off 2.7 volts right now. If I dim it down, the blue definitely takes over, but if I increase it, the white is more prominent. I'll kill the lighting here too. And so you can see that's definitely got sort of like a, I don't know, iridescent blue-white quality to it. Take off the exposure lock. In case that's, nope, that's just totally useless. Okay, but yeah, so I think that's got the effect I want, and then I'll probably, now there is, okay, so, well, hang on. First I'll, oh, if I can now. There we go. So this is the arrangement of the LEDs. So we just have a white on either side and then a blue in the center. And then it's also way further in. That way it's affecting the tip more. So I think what I'm going to do then is separate off the negatives or the positives, depending on how I want to code this, I guess. And then I'll have to double check the pinout for an ATtiny running Arduino. But then there also should be plenty of room to basically put the ATtiny 85 in here. And I actually probably won't even need to glue it up. And then I'll probably, let's see, maybe drill out a tiny hole beside this wire. And then I'll use probably some of that thin magnet wire I have to power this. And then basically I'm going to have the ATtiny do a sort of a flickering effect on these, but like independently, I think, of all three lights to give it sort of a random jittering look. So if I really wanted to, I probably could actually fit a Pro Mini inside here. Do I have one sitting around? I do. Yeah, no, maybe not. Well, with some more like cutting out and stuff, I could probably fit a Pro Mini in here. But I have some ATtiny 85s. I also have some 84s. They're longer, but, you know, more pins if I need it. I haven't tried programming them off of this. I haven't tried programming an ATtiny as an Arduino in a long time, because I lost my Arduino Mega, and I made a little shield for that. But I do have an Arduino Uno, and I do have a few of these. So, yeah, I'll probably, I guess, program an ATtiny 85, and then work on the randomization of this. That way you can get sort of a nice flickering effect. You can actually make out the blue LED inside there, I think, just barely. I can, but you might not be able to. That very dark blue section in there. So yeah, I will cut to when I have a good flickering effect and the ATtiny 85 programmed. Okay, so a bit of a freehand camera. So As you can see here, I've got the AT1085 programmed and doing the flicker effect on the LEDs. It's not showing on the right one, actually. Interestingly, it's not doing that one, but it is doing the others. And I was going to originally have this running at 3.2 volts, but the actual AT10 itself wasn't powering up properly at that point. But anyways, if we go ahead and put this in, and I guess I'll probably dim the lights. I don't know how well... Yeah, it's coming across. So you can see it's actually got sort of a flickering look to it. Yeah, I need to figure out why that other LED isn't flickering as much. That third white one. But that's looking like quite nice. I might want it to go slightly faster. And it's coming across more blue than it actually is on the camera. Let's go ahead and turn the light back on. But yeah, it's a little hard to picture, or whatever, capture on camera. But it does have a pretty good sort of flickering effect. I think I might want it to be a little more frequent, though. Okay, so here we have it. Yeah, the blue is definitely coming across more on camera, but I changed the loop time from 1 millisecond to 50. And maybe that's... I don't know, maybe that's not too fast. I mean, it's got a big flame out the back, you know, it's supposed to look like it's really moving, right? And yeah, that's got quite a nice sort of flickering to it. It's much less blue in person. In person, it looks more like the tip than this back section back here. And if you look straight down it... Yeah, it's blue is one of those colors that's hard to get on camera to look quite right, but that's looking really good to me. And that's got a quite nice flickering effect. So I think now I just have to actually get this into a form that fits in here. Okay, so I wasn't recording, but basically I marked the pin that I'm using for the blue LEDs, and then I pulled the AT1085 off of the board there. And so if I just go ahead and even just like toss that in there, it goes quite far to the back. So I think what I'll do is just go ahead and fold all the pins over. I don't know if I have my small needle nose here. Okay, so I can't find my small needle nose. I really do need to clean crap up around here. But I'm going to... let's use this. Actually, first I will have to trim the pins on this down. But then, basically, I am just folding them over to make this more streamlined. Not have any pokey bits to catch on things. Yeah, I kind of forgot I had these. I probably could have done some other quite nice tiny projects using them, just because they are so, I mean, you know, it's a single chip running, 8 megahertz clock for the Arduino, just fine. Alright, so there we have our little itty tiny assembly with the 3 LEDs. And if I go ahead and supply 5 volts to it, there we go. So we've got our flickering LED effect. That's, oh, it's actually that's making this go out of focus. Interestingly, the camera is sort of smoothing the effect out, so it's not quite as jittery as it actually is in real life. I quite like that smoother look, actually. Yeah, see that right there, though, that sort of rolling effect, yeah, it's not doing that, and that wouldn't look good for the thruster. And then I can go ahead and just sort of pop that down. It's not going down quite as far as I thought it would. Oh, there we go. So that's the itty tiny in there, and if we go ahead and put the rest of this in. Yep, that goes in all the way. Okay, so now, yeah, I want this to be really hard to see. Now, I don't know what this is rated for. I'm hoping it can drive sort of, you know, like 30 milliamps or 40 milliamps total, maybe, on this. Actually, yeah, so the blue LED is running at, oh yeah, but that was different calculations. So I don't quite know for sure what these are running at, actually. But this seems to be doing a pretty good job with the RGB LEDs in my Razer Ouroboros project. Okay, so that's our magnet wire done up. And let's just make sure that it can power it all and not get overwhelmed. And yeah, that's not reducing the brightness or anything at all. So there we have a nice, very small wire to power everything by. And then just to make it even more stealthy, just ran off and grabbed a black Sharpie. And so when this is on the stand, that should blend in quite nicely. There's some little bits of red that I'm not getting, but you know, that should be very hard to see. So next is the hole in this. Okay, so I've made a decision I tried using, I'm gonna just cut out a whole bunch of footage here. I tried using a cheap eBay pin vise, and it's fucking garbage. Maybe better ones are better. These tiny drill bits, they don't work for shit in one of those pin vices. They're way too flexible. I broke 2 of them off. It's been a struggle. So it's better just to use them in a drill. Yeah, so better just to use them in a drill. It looks like, at least this drill anyways, is able to chuck something as small as one of those bits. Even a little smaller, actually. And so I'm not happy with how big the hole is in the bottom, or how it's kind of screwed up from my mistakes, but I can now pull this wire through. So yeah, these bits, they work okay if you're careful with them. Don't use this. This is garbage. That's gone. I don't have a nice metal garbage can for the good sound effect, but you get the idea. Okay, positive is the left one. Alright, so I just went and identified which one of these wires was which. Positive. And our negative there. So if I go ahead and power this up. Yeah, we got our flickering lights. And I'm going to start my glue gun warming up. So basically now I just need to position this so that it lights everything up in the way that I want. Which might actually just be as simple as in where it is right now. And yeah, that actually has, yeah, right where it is has a really good white effect, really close into the middle, and then further out you see the blue. Yeah, when you look right down it, you have sort of the cooler blue in the center, and it's definitely, yeah, that's a good spot. So I'll just put a little dab of hot glue on the front there to hold it where it is. I would say it's upside down in that position because it's going to be mounted like this, but it's space, so no upside down. So yeah, in the meantime, I guess I'll try and get a good shot so that you can kind of see in there. So you can see in the back the LEDs. Then we got the AT Tiny in there and the little cable coming through the bottom hole there. Maybe I'll try and power it up for you. Alright, yeah, so it's kind of a nightmare to try and keep... fuck it. Okay, so glue gun is just about ready to go. Do wish I had the long tip for this. Well, I guess I can actually... I used to have a tip that goes like brass, and it was like out like an inch or two. Maybe not that far, but it was really good, and they don't have the tip individually. And yeah, that tip just wore out and broke. Okay, so there's here hot glue in the end there. And now I'll see if I want to actually hot glue the front of the ship onto this, or just leave it as it is to sort of friction fit. Oh, actually, it did get a little hot glue on it there, so yeah, I think I will just do some hot glue and keep it all together. So, just put another blob there. And just put some, I guess, generally around there. Line up the holes. And, okay. So that is our ship put back together and glued so it won't come apart. And those LEDs will stay in the right spot. And if I can untangle this mess up cords, I'll go ahead and power it up. And I'll maybe lower the lighting a little bit and zoom in ever so slightly. Alright, so let's go ahead and power it up for the first time with it assembled. Oh, and I think I reversed the polarity and I see a little bit of smoke coming from it, so I think I might have just fried the chip. I really hope that's not dead. Oh, thank God. Okay, so I think the smoke was probably just from the wire. Oh, wait, hang on. Come on. There we go. Hey, hey! So yeah, you're seeing it much smoother than it actually is. It is more sort of jittery. I wouldn't mind somewhere in between where it is now and where it is before, but that's still, I mean, you know, that's still 1,000 times better than when they shipped this thing out. Yeah, so it's much more of a, you know, flickery. It's a flickering effect. It's flickering. It's not pulsing like that. But that's... Oh, God. If I can get this touching the right spot. It is so finicky to try and power this thing up with alligator clips. It's unreal. Okay, and so there we have it from the end. You can see it's got sort of that blue effect, and then from the side it's much more white. But yeah, on the camera it's very hard to make out. So anyways, that is the ship part of this done. And the only thing left is the base. And so I don't have a super easy way to get 5 volts to where it is. So I think what I'm going to do is make this a little rechargeable wireless thing. So I'm going to go ahead and actually grab my drill again. And I just want to remember which way this goes. Yeah. So then I'm just going to make a small hole behind this one. Now Now, I kind of wish the front had been hollow, because then I could have done like metal contact in each of these and then have the wires go through, and that's something you could totally do. It's just beyond the effort that I want to put into this. That hole didn't end up great. Those are actually off center if you're doing this. So drill from the top, not from the bottom, apparently. But now, let me put some more twists up in that side. We can put the ship on the stand and get those bits in place. And then there we go, feed these through, pull them from the bottom. And so actually I think it's going to work better to put a couple twists around that post. Actually, that's kind of visible, having it twisted around there. So I'm just probably going to use some super glue and hold the magnet wire in place on the back of that. And just keep it super out of the way, because then, like that, you're not going to be able to see it from the front at all. Okay, so now for the other part of this. Making it a little wireless rechargeable doohickey. And for that, let me find them. For that, we will be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and just did a little bit of work on this. Like I said, I got the charging port lined up, and I also made a slot for that. And I just went ahead and popped these in just because it was quick enough. And so I do have the circuit board with the timer function from these lights. Now it would originally be running at 4.5 volts. Hopefully 5 is fine. I'm also not 100% sure on how it works though. So let's see. So let's just see if I have that in there. So I didn't actually. I'm pretty sure this will sit flush. Yeah. So I can't quite recall. So you got V negative and then V positive. And then, I guess, load negative, load positive. So I'm not sure if I need to have, like if I have this going to here, the 5 volt output, I don't know if that's going to be constantly running or not. Like I don't know if this thing draws current all the time, basically. Or if this switch, well, it turns on a timer function, and it's just one of those 8-pin unlabeled microcontrollers. I'm just having a look at the board here. So yeah, I went ahead and made the slot wide enough to do all 3 positions. Because if that doesn't work, then maybe I'll add like some underlighting or something. It's a nice long switch, so that does reach out to there. So yeah, I'm not sure if this board draws power all the time. I guess this is the sort of thing that I can make incremental changes to, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop some hot glue down. Move the switch while hot glue dries. Actually, oh, that's not sitting perfectly level, but I think that's more the base than the thing. So you can see we have our little switch on the back, and then also our micro USB charging port, and then I stuck the battery in the middle just so that the weight is kind of even. So, I guess V negative is just going to be ground again, so... we will just go ahead from slightly difficult angle to work on this thing at. Oh, actually, these come out. Okay, don't lose those. So that's our V negative. Kind of a crappy connection. So now I'm just trying to think, do I want to run this off the battery? Do I want undervolted or do I want to overvolted, basically? I think I'll run off the battery because that's going to draw power, yeah, but it's going to be way less than this little thing does, because that just goes all the way till, you know, even if the circuit isn't powered up on my microphone, it just drains the battery until it's flat in no time. So, yeah. So there's V positive. And so then the output will be going to here, so that's the load positive that needs to go into there. So in on the step in or step up transformer. And so then we can hook this in as a test. So we have our negative output. And our positive. Okay, so let's see. Okay. So as you can see, it's all wired up. I'll do a zoom in post for that. And so then I think the first mode is a timer mode. And the second mode is just on continuously. I don't know how long it's on for though. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect these. So we've got our shorter one and our longer one. And then our ship goes on like this. Oh yeah, these seem a little mismatched because that one is like slightly bent compared to how tall the back one goes. Yeah, see, that wants to hang on. Oh. See, now I'm kind of thinking if I ran the wire up and it was only hanging on one of these. Oh, that looks even better, actually. Shit. Oh, but, damn. Okay, so maybe just on the back then. Yeah, because it's not really sitting on both of them all that well. But it also looks... Yeah, it also looks pretty good with only one hanging. Oh, it wobbles though. And I think it looked better with like the front one holding up. I think that just gave it the angle more. Yeah, see, that lets it get moved around. So maybe I'll trim that down slightly. Or maybe I'll just adjust the positioning. Okay, that's just a teeny tiny bit. That's still slightly bending it. Okay, that's quite good. So I had to get these through the little hole again. Okay. So there we go, there's that. And I'll just put a little dab of hot glue on it there. Just to stop these from getting pulled out too much. I don't know where my super glue is offhand. Let me go and look for that. Okay, so super glue. Let's do another quick test. Oh yeah, it's not soldered in. And yeah, so I figured it was better to undervolt this circuit because it's made to go on 3 AA batteries, so it's going to be going at a lower voltage much more often than a higher one. So there we have our engines flickering away. So I'm going to do a tiny dot there. I don't know for sure if this is actually going to hold or not. Oh, it looks like it is. And then I'll just go ahead and do... Actually, I'm going to go ahead... I'm not going to turn this upside down very often. And a tiny dot down there. And so now from the front, there's no sign of any change. We can go ahead and put our backing on, which might look better without, I don't know. But then we can go ahead and, oh, which way? There we go, and have our flickering engine effect on the little Loot Crate model of the Rocinante from the Expanse. So I think that makes it way better, and, oh, yes, also, we will lose lighting a bit, but I think that will work well for, you know, what this is. So yeah, so we've got our flickering effect. We can have it timed or on constantly. I don't know how long the timer is. It's probably something like half an hour. It's from a Christmas light set. And then to recharge it, just go ahead and pop your cable in, and then that'll charge up in, I don't know, like I said, it's only a 150 milliamp hour battery, so probably not that long at all. But yeah, I think that is pretty good. Oh man, super stiff switch. But yeah, there we have it.